Mm. Whew. Let me straighten the camera out here. Don't want to have it crooked. What's up, good people? I can turn the fire down a little bit here. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. This is kind of cool here because the way the lights sitting up here look like they're stars from above. Oh my goodness. The way they're going through with the flag right there. Welcome to the Jobu Sports Report and Victory Night. Oh my God. We had the return of the Dak. Return of the Dak. Oh my God. Return of the Dak. Yes, it is. Return of the Dak. You know he'd be back. All right. So let me address some stuff here because Michael Anthony Fitness Reaction Gig Economy, my son, who it's a blessing every single day to be able to see him and work with him and watching him grow every day of his life. Well, actually, I haven't been there every day, but you understand what I'm saying. But being able to have him as well as my daughters and my wife and stuff, I am truly blessed. He ended up sharing with me a picture of one Skip Bayless wearing a Dak Prescott jersey and a hat. You know, I don't even know what the caption was. Once I saw it, I literally wanted to throw up my Reuben sandwich. I really wanted to throw it up because I am sick of bandwagon assholes like Skip Bayless. I am so done with Skip Bayless. That could be a video on its own. But this has got, now listen, if you're a fan of the team, it doesn't mean, it's kind of like this. Let me say this. I've been married to my wife, my second wife here, 18 years this year. Shout out to my daughter. This is the 1-year anniversary of her and her boyfriend. Shout out to them. Michael has been with his girlfriend for well over a year. Shout out to Michael and Gina and things. But as in every relationship, I love my wife to death. I am so blessed that we have each other. There's things that I don't do well that she does fantastically and vice versa. She's my yin and I'm the yang and stuff, you know? And together we are better than apart. And I know that I will be with her till death do us part. But it doesn't mean that I love every single thing that she does. And I can guarantee you she'll say, you know, honey, I love you, but there's some shit that you do that drives you crazy. And that is the Dallas Cowboys and their organization. Tonight, I was going to give them praise. Actually, I digress. I love my team. But you're not going to see me throwing their stuff in the trash and saying some of the things that they do about them. Because this morning when I got up this morning, I'm doing my morning videos. I like to go through, talk about what's news and all that. And I like to take, you know, one of the talking heads and stuff and play about a 5-minute clip in there and things, you know, because sometimes some of the things that you hear are just asinine. Just asinine. And listening to Skip Bayless and Shannon, knowing that Dak Prescott is coming back from hand surgery. I don't know if you or me, having had a plate and screws put into my hand 6 weeks ago, if I'd be ready to play football. What I worried about with Dak wasn't so much getting hit by a player, but reaching down on getting sacked and slamming that thumb because he's got a plate and screws in there. And I started to use Skip and Shannon and stuff on there. You know, Shannon was kind of like, you know what, I'll give him, you know, this game is not that important and stuff. You know, it's going to be rusty and things. And you know, you got the Bears. If it doesn't play well in the Bears game, then you need to start worrying. And listen to Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless basically said, if Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, no, he said, if Dak Prescott doesn't have 35 points on this team, then it's a failure. And here it is, being the bandwagon that he is. Now, oh, I got my Dak Prescott shirt and everything. Man, get out of here with that. I'm sick of fake-ass fans. You know, I wasn't happy about what we saw against Tampa Bay. I looked at it and I said, man, this is going to be rough. Hopefully, we can hold on till Dak gets back and maybe, salvage the season. Had no idea that we'd be 5-2. But guess what? I was still here every single week, and I was looking at it and I was saying, you know what? Here it is. We've got Cincinnati, we got the Giants, we got Washington, we got the Rams, and I'm like, if we could get, victory over Washington and the Giants and stuff, and if we could sneak one between Cincinnati and the Rams, if we could go 500 while Dak is gone, we have a chance to hold on for the season. I didn't give up. I didn't throw my Dak Prescott or my Zeke Elliott. I didn't throw all my stuff away like that. I still believed. I was scared. I didn't like what was going on. And in the same way, we looked at this in the offseason and we said the Cowboys don't care about winning. I hate to say it, but we got to actually look. We haven't won the Super Bowl, but you got to look at this point of the season, 7 weeks in, and say the Cowboys were right about not signing a bunch of free agents. They were right about not signing Randy Gregory. The rookie class, as Dak Prescott said, this is the best rookie class I've seen in the 7 years of being here. And that includes his, where it was him and Zeke Elliott. And we haven't even yet used all of the rookie picks that we've had. And as we've looked at seeing what's happened, when, we all looked at it and said, oh my God, Denver, excuse me. We said, Denver, oh my God, now they got Russell Wilson. That's all they need, that they're going to be great. We looked at the Chargers and said, oh man, Justin Herbert, man, he's one of the best young quarterbacks out there. And here it is, Seattle is better without Russell Wilson. Here it is, Denver is unwatchable. Denver's offense has to be the worst in the NFL. We've seen all these players that have moved, and it's more of the exception than the rule that they make a difference to your team getting better. Now, I have to say that the Eagles, and I'm not wearing the hat to have to say something nice, but the Eagles, with A.J. Brown and some of the other players they brought in, yeah, they're a much better team than they were. They are. We'll see if that is, just the first half of the season, if they have what happened to us last year where we started off the first half real good and then we had some injuries and things that tailed us off. It's hard to maintain being up there all the way down. We've seen teams that started out looking really good that all of a sudden, the Green Bay Packers are 3-4 right now after starting off, 3-1. They've lost 3 games to the Jets, the Giants, and Washington. But anyway, the credit that I was trying to give Jerry and Stephen Jones and Will McClay is the draft class. The draft class that, the experts out there. And this is what's crazy is don't listen to the experts. The experts don't know anything more than you and me. Mel Kiper Jr., get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language, Dad. But remember when they said Tyler Smith should have been a late second round pick, that the Cowboys were stupid, that, he had all those, including Skip and Shannon, all those penalties in college. What are the Cowboys thinking? But he's the plug and play guy that, here it is, I'm having a discussion with my co-Cowboys creators and saying, should Tyron Smith get the starting nod back and move Tyler to guard where we would be stronger? Tyler Smith is playing so well that people are like, no, I don't want to mess with that. Tyler Smith. The fact that this team has been held together with that rookie, I got to give him a game ball. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he is doing what you need him to do so that you don't have to be like we were with Chaz Green and some of the other journeymen and signing these free agents that get a big fat paycheck but don't bust a grape. But going through on this rookie class, the second round pick, who is beginning to have some flashes. Now understand, what usually happens with rookies is, rookies kind of start off kind of slow, and then you'll see them get better as the season goes on. Anthony Brown, his rookie season, he was not real good. In the second half of the season, he was one of the best cornerbacks in football. His career has just been up and down. He has good games and bad ones. He had some missed tackles tonight that really bugged the crap out of me, but, that's the way of the rookies. But Sam Williams, who didn't get much playing time early on, is getting more. You had a tackle for loss last week. That was an incredible tackle, and it's beginning to rain. But tonight, 2 sacks, and a strip fumble recovery. That guy gets a game ball, because that was the guy when I looked at him and saw, you get wowed with the combine because you saw his speed, you saw his size, you saw his strength. But now you're seeing him actually out there beginning to learn the game as a professional with a Dan Quinn. That guy is going to be scary because he's heavier than Randy Gregory. He's faster than Randy Gregory, and he's a little bit shorter. In fact, I dare say, when you talk about Randy Gregory, this goes back to Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. When Stephen Jones said, Dorrance Armstrong, he's right there with Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory, who had, I believe, 6.5 sacks last year, was injured for, I think, 3 or 4 games. Dorrance Armstrong right now, if I'm correct, I believe has 6 sacks on the season. Let me say it again. I believe Dorrance Armstrong, I got to double check, but I think Dorrance Armstrong has 6 sacks on the season. That guy gets a game ball. Micah Parsons, who looked like he was slow today, that groin may be bothering him, and he's not able to really take off and push off like we think. He is a warrior. He is the lion and all that. But, sometimes you get beat down. And, having the Bears this next week and then having the bye week will hopefully get him a chance to get himself healthy. But again, you can't stop him for long. He gets a game ball. And also, for the first time in forever, there was actually a holding call against Micah Parsons there. They finally called one after all the times they're called out. In fact, I got to say, the referees saved us a couple of times there with some calls that actually went our way for once. For once, yes. So, of course, Micah Parsons gets a game ball. But I'm going to say the whole defensive front gets a game ball because the Dallas Cowboys picked up 5 sacks. The amazing thing is, against the Washington Commanders, I think we only got Carson Wentz twice. That was the low point for the season. But as we sit here right now, the Dallas Cowboys are averaging 4.14 sacks a game. If you equate that to a season, right now we're on pace for 71 sacks. The NFL record for sacks in a season, be it they only had 16 games, was the 85 Bears with 72. The fact that we are 7 games into the season and we are on pace for that is amazing. The fact that we've got 29 sacks 7 weeks in, guys, we've had some seasons where 29 sacks was the season total in the last 12 years. This defensive front is literally that good. And now that you've got a guy like Sam Williams that you can rotate in there, we've got a guy like Carlos Watkins, who was penciled in to be a starter. They just brought him up to play him. He hasn't been able to crack the lineup. Terrell Basham is just about healthy enough to come back, but they don't have a place for him. We are deep, and this is good for the totality of the season. All right, so we ended up getting 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles in this game, and those plays were the difference. Diggs, his 3rd interception of the season. I don't know if he'll get over 10 again this year, but the fact that he's got those 3, he's on pace for about 6 or 7, maybe 8 on the season. Definitely gets a game ball. And we've got to look at this team. We had some bad tackling in there with Leighton Vander Esch, seemed a little bit slow in some places. but the defense only gave up 330 yards of offense. And this team had scored 35 against the Eagles. Now, they didn't score any last week against New England. Maybe they peaked to the early games of the season. I don't know. But right now, all I know is this team had been scoring a lot of points. They held them to 6. And when you do that, your chances of winning are very, very good. On offense, it was ugly. It was ugly. We had miscues and things that definitely hurt us. Noah Brown having that catch and then being flipped upside down, having the fumble right there. You're on the 5-yard line. It should have been an easy score from that point on. Unfortunately, things like that hurt us. Michael Gallup had a big drop. CeeDee Lamb had a big drop. We have got to stop these drops and fumbles and things and perfect it. I'm not mad about my offense. Basically our offense was a mirror of what the Lions did, yardage-wise. The turnovers were the difference. But I've got to say, Zeke Elliott, when you look at the numbers, you only see about 54 yards. You'll see 3.9 yards a carry. But trust me, Zeke on the goal line twice, 2 touchdowns, a 3rd down and short, another short yardage play where he gets to play. And you look at that and say, dude is pounding and getting there. He's over 440 yards right now in the season, and I believe, I know he's got at least 5 TDs. He gets a game ball. Tony freaking Pollard, the lightning back, okay? Zeke is the thunder, bowling through there. Tony Pollard tonight actually had some runs up the middle that you typically don't see that were carrying and getting yards after contact. He had, the revert. We basically had the reverse of last week where Tony Pollard had about 58 and Zeke had like 83. This week, you had Tony Pollard with 83. Now, people try and get in here and say, well, Tony should be starting over Zeke, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're looking at it the wrong way because these guys are selfless. And they look at it and say, or I look at it and say, it's not two guys, it's one guy that are giving you different skill sets, and you're going to have different matchups for them that you can use them. And that's where you're going to be successful. As long as we keep rushing for that 125 yards a game, pretty much like we've been doing on most of them, and you look at it and see the Tampa Bay game, we didn't rush that much. It was a loss. The Eagles game, we did get there, but we had the turnovers. But if we can rush that 125 plus yards a game, again, your odds of winning go up. And I got to give one to Dak Prescott, because Dak, we looked at thinking this season was going to be over. Be honest. We thought this season was going to be over without Dak. We thought if and when Dak came back from a broken hand, that we were going to be so deep in the hole that, the season was done. But for the first game back, a little over 200 yards, 1 TD pass, and no interceptions. He did have one that could have been, but they dropped it. But that happens to everybody. And if we had had some of the catches that were caught, if we had had Noah Brown not fumble the ball there, we would have actually been winning this game going away. We really would have. So Dak Prescott toughing it out and understanding, I got to live for another day, and playing well, definitely gets the ball. And I got to give Turpentine, big return all the way to the 40-yard line. That boy is fast. That boy is fast. He was incredible, and definitely the Cowboys probably have the best kick returning yardage in the NFL. I have to double check and see it, but I don't see how anybody has better return yardage than we do. It's amazing because on one he ended only get 15 yards, and I was like, oh, it didn't look like much, but it's 15 yards. We're clearly getting better special teams play than what we've had in the past. So special teams get a definite game ball. And finally, I have to actually say that Mike McCarthy being under as much pressure that could literally have made a diamond, being given the bad hand of losing your quarterback, and been given the hand of having Jerry Jones as your owner that's spouting off all kinds of craziness, and finding a way to still thrive. I have to give one to Mike McCarthy, because he has taken the ship and he sailed it through crazy waters. And that's all I got for you right now. It's my game balls. I'm going to go relax. Doing these games, especially the early game, gets to be difficult. You know, you get up extra early, and between setting up the studio and cooking the food, and then being there for 8 hours or so, live streaming actually wears you out. It's actually a lot to do here what we do, but I am so happy and blessed to be able to do it. So I'm going to go watch Game of Thrones and try and unwind from this. And let me say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Be sure to tell the ones that you love them, because you might not get the chance again. And happy anniversary to my daughter and her boyfriend, as well as to Gina Thorne and her husband. Happy anniversary. Now it's time to turn out the lights. This party's over.